Hello everyone. Today we will learn how to create videos using whiteboard animation. Now let's first understand what whiteboard animation actually is. Whiteboard animation is a style of video designed in which the content seems as if it is being drawn by hand on a whiteboard or on a white background. Typically these illustrations are accompanied by a narration or text. This narration or text walks the audience through the story that is being told with the illustration. Whiteboard animations are very engaging. They're extremely fun to watch. And let's first see an example of a video that uses whiteboard animation before we move any further. This video is in Hindi, but that's not very important. I want you to note how the video looks like and how the images are drawn on the screen.
हे दोस्तों, हेल एलरॉड 20 साल की एज में ही अपनी कंपनी के टॉप सेल्समैन में से एक बन गए थे। उनका रिलेशनशिप अच्छा चल रहा था, फैमिली हैप्पी थी और वो भी खुश थे। मतलब सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा था। लेकिन फिर एक दिन जब वो स्पीच देके अपने घर जा रहे थे, तब उनका एक्सीडेंट हो गया। एक शराब पिए हुए आदमी ने 70 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड से आके उनकी कार को ठोकर मार दी, जिसकी वजह से उनका इतना बड़ा एक्सीडेंट हो गया कि इसमें उनकी टांग टूट गई, हाथ टूट गया, लंग पंचर हो गया और बहुत सी सीवियर इंजरीज आई। यहाँ तक कि 6 मिनट के लिए वो मर गए थे वहां उस रोड पे। पर फिर फौरन पैरामेडिक ने आके उन्हें रिवाइव करा और हॉस्पिटल पहुंचाया।
Now let's see the software. Let's install the software. In our case, we are going to install the software which is called as Videoscribe. Now this is not the only software that we have, but I will talk about the other whiteboard animation software a little later. Let's now look at the process to install Videoscribe. So open the Google search engine and type Videoscribe there. Go to the third result on the results page, and so there is a site called videoscribe.co/en. This is the website from where you can download the free trial. Now the free trial is available for a period of 7 days. You can also choose to buy the software post the free trial. So let's look at the pricing here. As I said earlier, for single users, it is priced at $17.50 per month. If you opt for a monthly plan, if you opt for a yearly plan, it is $8 per month. If you opt for a quarterly plan, it's $35 per quarter. This is for single users. Then organizations can also choose to buy team licenses. Now I don't think this is going to be very relevant in our case, so I'm going to move on from here. Let's now go back to the previous page and let's look at how you can download the free trial version of the software. To do that, click on the free trial button. Notice whether you're using a MacBook or Windows, the software can be installed in both types of machines. So click on the free trial button and you'll have to enter your first name, your last name, your email address. You need to confirm your email address and you need to enter your password. And then you need to click here, I agree to Sparkle's terms and conditions. Sparkle is the parent company of Videoscribe, and then you create your free account. So I have done all of that. So once you create your free account, you'll be able to download the software. And to use the software, you will be required to log in using the same account. The reason why I have chosen Videoscribe is because number one, it has a very simple interface. It's very easy to learn. So if you're a beginner and you want to make whiteboard animation videos, Videoscribe is a very obvious choice. But there are some other software that you might also want to consider. There is a software called as Explain.dio. This is pronounced, the spelling is EXPLAIN.dio. and it's another top explainer video software. It is more versatile than Videoscribe. You can use it to create cartoons. You can use it to create animation. It also allows import of images and GIFs to your project, and it will convert these images and GIFs into a whiteboard video. However, Explain Video is more complicated than Videoscribe. It takes time and effort to master it. It is not free and it does not come with a trial, but it still remains one of the best explainer video animation software. Then there is a software called as Adobe Animate CC, and people, who are in the field of video editing, people who are in the field of whiteboard animation, they would know that this is simply the best whiteboard animation software that is out there. You can use Adobe Animate CC to produce top-notch quality videos. You don't need any other software for post-production edits with Adobe Animate CC. However, the software is complicated. The user interface is not very easy to learn, and there is a steep learning curve with Adobe Animate CC. It takes a lot of patience to learn. It is also not free, so if you're actually serious about creating whiteboard animation videos which are top notch in terms of quality, then I would recommend that you go and buy the license for Adobe Animate CC. So I have installed Videoscribe on my system, and when you open the application on your system, this is how the home page looks like. This right here is an example scribe. So a scribe is a project, okay? If you want, you can see how a typical project looks like. So I have opened the example scribe here, and this is how the example project looks like. Now I will go back and I will create my own new project. To do this, I will have to create on the create a new scribe button. But before that, let's see some other buttons on the home page. So this is the import scribe file. If you click on this, you can import a project from your desktop. This is the settings button, and when you click on it, you will see some default settings. By default, the language is English, and I want to keep it that way. Emergency backup is the time interval after which your project is auto-saved. So by default, this is kept at 3 minutes. I want to reduce this time to 1 minute. Then you have something called the transition time. There is something called the pause time. Then the max draw time and image quality. Now pause time is the interval between two images. So let's say there are two images in your project, and after the first image is drawn and before the second image starts to be drawn, what is the interval between them? So by default, this is set as 0.5 seconds. So for now, I will keep it that way, and later if I want to change, I can change the pause time between two images. Another important term which you see here is transition time. Transition time is the time it takes from one scene to change to another scene. So how much time does it take to move from scene 1 to scene 2, and this is something which I would demonstrate later. Max draw time is the time it takes to draw an image. It is the maximum time it takes to draw an image, and this is something which we can change later. These are the settings. Now let's create a sample scribe. So I will click on the create a new scribe button here. Okay. So before I create a sample scribe, let me show some of the buttons here. This is the save button. So when you click on this, you can save your project file. This is the button for cutting. This is copy. This is paste. So save, cut, copy and paste. These are the first four buttons on the top left hand side. This is the button for adding a music. So by default there is some music available here. If you want, you can add any of these musics to your Scribe. And there are different genres as well. You can select the genre of music that you want to add depending upon the kind of project that you are creating. And you can also loop in these friendly tracks. So looping means that you can play these tracks again and again till the entire length of your project. Next, this button is if you want to have a voiceover for your project, you can click on this button here and then you can click on record here. And when you do that, you will be able to record your voice. There's also another option. If you have recorded your voice separately and you want to import that in the project, you can actually click on the button here and then select whatever track you want to import and then import that track. Now if there is a particular URL from which you want to import your sound, you can click on this button and you can import the sound from there as well. Then this button is about background options. So when you click on this, how should your background template look like? So if you click on this, you will see that the background template changes. It looks a little grainy here. If you click on this, the background template would look like this. So for now I want to have a plain template, so I will go back and click on the first option. Now this is something called the default scribe hand. So typically whenever you show an image on a whiteboard animation, you show that the image is being drawn, and you can either show that a hand is drawing the image like this, you also have various options to choose from. There are different ways in which you can show that the image is being drawn. For example, this is another way. You can also alternatively use pens. So let's say I want to use this option. So this is how I will see my image being rendered. Now this is the play from start button. So this is something which I will show after I have a couple of images on the timeline. After you have completed your project, you can actually download or publish it, and you can either share it on sites like YouTube, Facebook, etc., or you can download the completed project as well. Now this is the timeline of your project, and I will show you how to use this a little later. Next, you see three buttons here. This button is to use new images to the project. This button will help you in adding new text to the image, and this button is to add new chart to the image. Okay, so let's start with a sample project. Let's say that I want to use an image of a person, and let's say I want to use the image of a doctor. So I'll go here, I will click on this button. So you see that there is an image library here, and this image library is divided into various categories. If you click on arrows, for example, you will see various arrows. If you click on buildings, you will see various types of buildings. You can choose whichever you want to use. Then there are certain images which you can actually purchase, but for starters, the inbuilt library is huge, so you will not need to buy an image. So let's go here and let's add any image. So I go to people and let me select an image which I like. Let me say that I want to use the image of a doctor. And let's see if this library has any such image. Okay. So here is an image of a doctor and I want to use this image. So I double click on the image and wait for the image to render on the project. Now you see that this image is there on my project and it is there on my timeline as well. Now you see here that this will take 9.5 seconds to render. Okay, so let me show to you how this image will be drawn on the screen. So to do that, let me click on the play button here. Okay. Now, since this is a trial version, you saw a watermark in the background. If you actually purchase Videoscribe, you will not see the watermark. Now I don't want this image to be positioned at the center. I want this image to be positioned on the left hand side. To do that, let me click on the image and drag it to the left hand side. So what I need to do is that I need to click on set camera to current position. So let me click on this. If I don't set the camera to the current position, irrespective of whichever position the image is initially in, when it gets rendered, it will be rendered at the center of the screen. So now that I have set the camera to the current position, let me play the video. Now you see that this image stays on the left hand side of the screen. To add more meaning to this video, let us add some text. Let's say that this person is a doctor and he is introducing himself. Let's add some text from here. Now there are different fonts which are available. You can click on manage fonts and you can click on whichever font you want to choose. I want to choose, let's say, Arabic transparent. So click on the button here. Okay, this didn't get chosen. So click on the plus sign here, and I think now this particular font is getting imported. By default, you only have one font style, which is basic. So if you want to choose any other font style, you'll have to import that particular font style. So presently I'm importing the Arabic transparent font style. So now that this is imported, I click on it and I click on the check mark. Or I can choose the Arabic transparent text. I also have the option of I also have the option of changing the color of my font, and you can choose whichever color you want to choose. Let's say I want to choose red. So click here, and You also have the option of aligning the text, whether you want to align this to the left hand side, to the center, or to the right. Let's say this person says, "Hi, I am Dr. Jim." So I click on this tick button here, click on set camera position, and now I would play this video from the start. So let's see how it looks like. See, the first image is taking 9.5 seconds to get drawn. This particular text is getting 14 seconds to get drawn, and we'll see in a while how we can change um, the duration for both of these elements. Okay, so this I played only this element. I want to play from the start. So this is the first image. And then this is the text. Now if I want, I can also change the properties of these elements. So I've selected the first element here and I've clicked on properties. Now there are various options that I have. So I am under the header drawing options, and the default option is draw. There is another option. There are actually two other options, which are move in and fade in, and I will show to you how these options are rendered on the screen. Then you also have the option of either using full color, which is the default image, or the outline, which looks like this, or you can use grayscale. This is a grayscale option. The last option is silhouette. So you can use any of these options that you want to. Next, look at the other option, which is the drawing hand. I have spoken about this earlier. If I want, I can actually change the drawing hand. If I want, I can use a pen as well. So let's change this option and see how it is rendered. I've never used this option before, but I'm very curious. So let me choose this particular option and see how this image gets rendered. So let's now that I've changed the properties of this particular element, let's play the video from the start. This is the first element. Now this is the second element, which is the text element. Now if I want, I can also ensure that this element is rendered faster. So let's reduce the animation time. So see, 4.5 seconds and 6 seconds total time. So 4.5 seconds to animate, 0.5 seconds to pause, 1 second for transition. So this is the total time it will take to render this image and to move on to the next frame. And I will explain to you shortly what different frames mean. So for now, I have reduced the time of animation for this particular element, and I have changed this particular option to move in. Okay, and I want this to move in from bottom to top. So let's see how this image is rendered now. Let's play this video from the start. So now this has only taken 4.5 seconds to render this particular image. Now this is scene 1. So typically whenever you use whiteboard animation, you want to narrate a story. In a story, the scene changes from scene 1 to scene 2, from scene 2 to scene 3, so on and so forth. So this is a doctor. This is a doctor whose name is Jim. Now let's say there is a patient who has come to meet the doctor, and for that we'll have to move to scene 2. To do that, I will drag the screen down, or I will scroll up, and then let me introduce a character who looks like a patient. Let's say this lady here. She looks as if she has a headache. So I'm dragging this image to the left hand side. I'm going to set the camera position again, and let's add some text. So I want to keep my font as Arabic transparent. And she says, hi, I have a headache. Hi doctor, I have a headache. Let's change the font to red. And, okay. Now let's also set the camera position here to current position. Let's see how the image is rendered. Now let's play from the start. So this is scene 1. Now we have moved to scene 2. And let's again go back to scene 1 and let's see the transition time between scene 1 and scene 2. To do that, let me click on properties here. Now it says the transition time between scene 1 and scene 2 is 1 second. So if I want, I can increase this transition time. If I want, I can reduce this transition time. If I increase this transition time, it will take longer. It will take longer to move from scene 1 to scene 2. So let me increase this to 3 seconds. I just want to show this to you. And let's play this again from the beginning. So scene 2 here. Now you see that the transition time has increased between the scenes. Okay. So next there is a very interesting feature wherein you can show one image transforming into another image. To do that, we make use of a feature called as Morph. So let me add an example. Let me quickly select an image. So here is the image of a coffee mug. I want to make this image smaller. So I drag from the corner and make this image smaller. Then I click on select, set camera to current position. I want to show that this coffee mug is getting tilted. Okay. So I copy the image and I paste the image. Now I have two images of the coffee mug. I rotate the second image here. Now I click on the second image, click on properties, and I want to show that the image is morphing or the image is transforming. So which image is this particular image getting transformed from? So this image is getting transformed from the first image, which is of the upright coffee mug. So I select the upright coffee mug. The angle is minus 89 degree rotated. So anti-clockwise is minus and clockwise is plus. I also want to clear item here. So clear item means that, okay, let me uncheck clear item first and let me show to you how this particular transformation looks like. And once you have seen that, I will I will check the clear item checkbox and I will show the difference to you. So let me play this current element. So this time I'm going to have the clear item checked, and let's see how the transformation looks like. You will not see two coffee mugs. So in the first transformation, you saw the upright coffee mug, and you also saw that the second coffee mug was getting rotated from the upright position. So you saw two coffee mugs at every instant of the transformation. When I check on the clear item, you will only see one coffee mug rotating. So let me click here and let me play this element. This is how image morphing works. A whiteboard animation is never complete without voiceover or narration. So now that we have the scenes ready, let's learn how to do a voiceover. To do a voiceover or a narration, click on this button here. When you click here, you have the option of choosing your microphone. So this is my laptop's default microphone. I will keep it the way it is. Keep this particular item place Scribe on record checked. If you uncheck this item, you will not be able to see the animation. Then you'll have to click on the record button. So another option is to import a voiceover from your computer. So you might have done a voiceover separately and you want to attach that voiceover to the scenes in this particular project. So that's a possibility. You could also import, an MP3 from some URL. So this is not particularly useful to add a voiceover. This is more useful to add music to the project. Now, before I click on the record button, I will talk about the couple of challenges in recording narration on Videoscribe. The challenge is that the rate at which you speak should match the rate of rendering the text. So if, hi doctor, I have a headache, if this text takes 2 seconds to render, I should also be able to speak in 2 seconds. If this sentence, hi, I'm Dr. Jim, takes a couple of seconds to render, I should be able to speak that in 2 seconds. So let's now try this example. So I'll click on this button here and wait for the project to play. Hi, I am Dr. Jim. Hi doctor, I have a headache. Now this audio is getting processed. Let's see if the narration matches the rate at which the text is rendered. So let's play this from the start. Hi, I am Dr. Jim. Hi doctor, I have a headache. If the rate at which you speak, if the rate of your narration does not match the rate at which the text is displayed, then you'll have to change the time it takes for the text to be rendered on screen. So we'll go here and I'll click on properties and I will maybe increase or reduce the time it takes to animate to match my narration. Now we have discussed all the fundamentals that you need to understand to be able to create a whiteboard animation. So if you're satisfied with your project, click on the save button here. Give your scribe a name. I will call this my first animation. You can choose the folder where you want to save this particular scribe. Click on this button here, and then you can either download or publish this scribe video. You can download this using this button here, or you can publish this directly on YouTube or Vimeo, or you can actually download this as a PPT as well. So I will click on the download button here, and my video is downloaded. I've already played this particular project on the screen, so you know how this project will look like. So that's all I have from my side. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, please ask. My recommendation to you is that please download this software and try and create your first whiteboard animation video. Thank you all very much for your time. Take care. Bye bye.